Greetings, dear ones. It is Friday, the 25th of April, and I was not live last week because of the Labyrinth event. And I had something, of course, entirely different planned for this week. Um, Subject matter being history and much else. But the New Jersey wildfire, again, it is pretty much contained, but we are all dealing with the repercussions of that, both um, particulates in our air, soot, just massive amounts of soot on the beaches. The loss is incredible. I don't know the latest number. This morning I looked and it was 15,000, nearly 16,000 acres. That is a huge tract of land. That is a massive amount of trees in our area. Trees that we need, trees that are beneficial, an entire ecosystem within the pine barrens. This is just truly devastating. And, to have it again so close to our last wildfires, I think that was maybe 6 months ago, a little over. And, as last week was such a challenging week, the week leading up to Easter, and then a few days following Easter was so much loss in the world, so much loss personally, so much loss here in the neighborhood of many trees that are old growth or were old growth trees, very tall trees. My birds and critters in the backyard have been panicky, all trying to carve out a place to live and eat. And in the meantime, we have marauding cats who are left out, and that's placing a danger on the birds and the critters as well. And those of you who know me or have worked with me know that I have a very, very profound and deep, both energetic, spiritual, and physical connection to trees. It's more than just liking them. I've worked with trees and their entire familial system for many, many years. And there's more, trees are known to be lovely, be cooling, drink up all of the, pollution that we produce, and clean our air. They are known as the earth lungs, but they are so much more. There is an entire communication system that goes on between and among trees, not only for trees' benefit, but for the benefit of all of the critters in that ecosystem. And the land itself, the soil, it is just, it could go on listing so many different things, but that they physically do for our environment. But I think, one of the themes that have been coming across for quite some time, but very, very apparently in the past week or 10 days, certainly with clients and friends as well, is the complete sense of having not their worth, their value, their significance, their beingness recognized, acknowledged, respected, valued, protected, given rights, etc., or allowed the natural rights and legal rights. And, children have been seen as possessions for thousands of years. Not to say that parents did not care for their children, love their children, but they were seen as something to have and use for everything from the continuation of the lineage to working the farms to being able to trade them well for a cow or a horse or some other physical object, or trade them for mutual benefit of the families involved. Certainly, girls as payment or trade. And we're still not in a place as a society, worldly, that we recognize and give the dignity and rights and respect and honor to children as we should, could, need to, must, in order to be an evolved society. And I say that because that theme is so prevalent in regard to the land, in regard to trees, in regard to our oceans. Mining going on in places are being approved of in places that worldwide agreement has been to not touch. It is such a delicate ecosystem and such a delicate balance in particularly the deep oceans. And, it's as if it's a thing. Again, we can do what we want. We can dig, we can take, we can cut. Our forests are under attack as well. Our national forests that belong to us, the people. And logging has been approved in areas that have no right to the land or to the trees or to the benefits, the financial benefits thereof. So, it's as if we as the people are, in a position similar to children where our needs, our wants, our desires, our feelings are completely being overridden and ignored, exploited on top of that, and used and taken advantage of and taken for granted. So again, I say all of this because I was, observing some of the comments regarding the wildfires. And, they're talking about evacuations, how many evacuations, how many buildings threatened, how many buildings destroyed. But never do I see any numbers, any recognition of the amount of trees and animals and land and ecosystem that has been destroyed. It's all calculated in dollars as far as losses to businesses, homes, etc. And while horrible, that recognition or acknowledgement is never extended to the trees and the wildlife in such a way that we feel for them. We recognize that as part of our immediate environment, it is our neighbors, it is our excuse me, it is our region, it is our physical and spiritual and energetic encircled area here in New Jersey, extended into eastern Pennsylvania, and again down into our oceans that touch, our state and the states below us. So this is an overarching theme. We all know of the disregard of people's rights and rule of law and considering certain groups as things or dehumanizing them, whether it's the immigrants in our country or in many others as well. So this is an invitation through this meditation to not only benefit the land where the fires have taken place here in New Jersey, not only to benefit all of the far-reaching populations from the wildfires, both human and wildlife and trees, but also, the dehumanizing, whether it's of children, whether it's of nature, or whether it's of other types of peoples, beyond our, individual identities. So I'm going to ask the oils for a message today and bring in some of the helpers that have been appearing this week, and I will also invite you all to bring in much of either your known guides, teachers, masters, ancestors, etc., or those that you're even unaware of. So we'll do that in a moment. And many of you know, just to note, that this particular fire, the Jones Road, I think they're naming it Jones Road, was started by a person, a teenager, 19-year-old, I think he is. I don't know the whole story, but the point is that 90% of all fires in the world are started by humans, whether purposefully or carelessly, or just, again, that non-feeling, non-awareness that there is a danger and that there is the possibility of extended harm from our actions. So, I think, the human harm factor is very, very strong, of course, this week. It always is, but I think we have a different flavor of it this week. So I'm going to invite the oils to help us, and to also remind us of who we are and what can be. We'll ask them in that vein. So the first oil coming out is spikenard. And spikenard is a very ancient oil, and it symbolizes reverence for honor, respect, but more accurately, reverence. It is said that this is the oil that Mary Magdalene used to wash the feet of the Master Jesus and then dry his feet with her hair. And this would be going on, if, it's going energetically, despite the fact that the oil is not actually physically going on you. And it is actually going on our anchor point and our first chakra. And this is to have reverence for life, for the path that we walk individually and the path that we walk as humans. To have reverence for that path, to have reverence for your own inner centering and anchoring your knowingness within you. So the next oil is Onycha, Onycha. I've got a bit of a glare because this is a gold wrapper. And Onycha is about just that absolute direct line between us as humans and the divine. I've often mentioned the first time that I encountered this oil some 25, 26 years ago, I found myself literally traveling as if beyond the speed of light, all the way straight up to the cosmic levels. And I had no, I had no consciousness of it. I was just there. So it allows us to be that directly connected to the cosmic. And by cosmic, I mean the intelligence or the design behind both our universe and others. And the next oil, and by the way, I'm sorry, that would be going on our throats to allow for that direct line to be our truth, that we are more than humans. We are part of the cosmic, the great cosmic, not only web within our universe, but that which is behind all things. The next oil coming out is valerian, and valerian represents tranquility. And that's a very interesting word. Just came up through a client yesterday, as a matter of fact, when she was channeling some work, or she was channeling some artwork for friends and family. And in one of the beautiful pieces that she made, tranquility was a very central core feeling and word within that art piece. And she says, that that's not a word that she generally uses. So obviously, recognizing that direct line of communication to a divine source and what she was channeling through that artwork. And this oil was going on the third chakra, which is having tranquility within your sense of who you are. And the next oil popping up is surrender. It's an oil blend, obviously bringing forth the action as well as the concept of surrendering. And this is going on your core, the essence of you, so surrendering to your own core. And the next oil is vetiver. Interesting. And this is all about earthing. This is all about being deeply settled, deeply within the earth, for we are the earth and the earth is us. So, and this would be going on your heart. So that's earthing that heart energy that you have and that you are. And one last one, I believe. And this is Northern Lights Black Spruce, a single blend from a beautiful tree. And this is very much about being the bridge between heaven and earth, you being that bridge. And in this particular instance, it would be going on your second chakra, which is representing your passion and your power. So allowing you to be the bridge between heaven and earth as you express that passion and power within you. And one last. Sorry, I always think that that's last, but they speak and they know. And receiving inspiration from, this is an oil blend called Inspiration, receiving inspiration from life force, from life itself. There is a beautiful song, and I know that's in many different songs, that life will go on. And while we do want it to go on with humans, this earth certainly will continue no matter all the damage that we have done. She will recover, she will adjust, she will become something different than what has been, go through another stage, another epoch. But it is our deep binding with that, with the earth, nature, and all the cycles and seasons and processes of um, this beautiful planet that is on the potential chopping block, or as we co create, as we co work with the earth, with one another to redesign this nation, this world, in the ways that we want to live in, then we are seeing that redevelopment of that bond, of that relationship, of that interconnectedness, of that interdependence, along with and through technology and engineering and physics and all the amazing sciences that are showing us just how intricate the design is and how significant our part can be in participating, partnering, co modulating even from the earth to us and us to the earth. And that brings us back to this recognition of everything. I mean, we're in Earth Month. It should be every month, it should be every day, but we had Earth Day this week. And that recognition that trees and rocks and land and wildlife are not just things. They are not, even if you view them as something beautiful, etc. That's not the same as feeling it. That's not the same as truly aligning with and recognizing and feeling into the divine human nature of each object on this planet. I posted something earlier this week that everything is here for a reason. And when we call something a weed, you know, is it really something that we just merely do not want in our yard? And how does that affect? We have so many people utilizing deadly pesticides, and North Dakota just overturned a ruling on utilizing some of the most deadly pesticides, um, rolling that back. So we all need to be aware of what's going on in our immediate areas, our immediate region, our immediate government, be it township, county, state. Indivisible.org is a great place to start. There are many others. I'm going to be working, just bringing forward a lot of different ways that we can get involved, not just with nature, but the choices that we should be in upon, such as what goes into our air, our water, our food, or what does not. So this is an acknowledgement, this meditation today, not only for and on behalf of the wildfires and all the repercussions thereof, but to bring forward that feeling of acknowledgement, recognition, respect, honor, reverence, cooperation, collaboration, communing with everything around us, in order for that mutually beneficial relationship to be designed and redeveloped. So I invite you now to, again, we have these beautiful oils of bringing reverence and a direct and immediate unification with the cosmic, as well as our own inner tranquility and surrendering to this essence of who we are, this essence that we have always been beyond this human experience. And the earthing, bringing in and on to this earth our deep heart, our deep heart's energy, our deep heart's desire. And that's beyond our human heart. That's your psychic heart. And allowing your passion, your creativity, your power to enable you to feel yourself and experience yourself as a bridge between heaven and earth. Being inspired and inspiring life itself. Being an inspiration and receiving inspiration from life force. So I invite you to just sit in your chair or a couch, wherever you may be, and in some kind of way, if you're sitting in a chair, it's always wonderful to have your feet at your legs at right angles, feet flat on the floor, with your spine straight. And sometimes if you kind of put your elbows back into the chair or couch, it allows for not only an opening of your chest and your heart and your lungs to be able to breathe and allow your body even more benefit from the meditation, but it allows your back, your spine to be straight, to channel that energy from the divine, the cosmos, the earth herself, nature, right? To be that bridge between heaven and earth and feel it in your body. And so just breathe as your normal pace. Breathe without holding, either on the in-breath or the exhale. Just noticing how the air is moving, feeling, if you can, the air moving not only through your nostrils, and I do suggest breathing through your nostrils rather than your mouth. It allows for a deeper settling, a deeper benefit from the oxygen coming in, feeding your cells, your tissues, the particles themselves, the atomic particles themselves. And again, just feeling, always feeling. It is key, and it is the exact opposite of what our defense systems want us to do, because our defense system is afraid on our behalf that if we feel things, we will be overwhelmed and we will not be able to handle it. Yet, that is the defense system of a little child that definitely could not handle all that was going on around them, all that they were experiencing internally, externally. But as adults, we absolutely can and must feel, for it is that lack of feeling which has allowed us or brought us to this point. People who can cause harm because they do not feel the results of their actions, or inactions. And again, just breathing in and out. And if you feel so inclined, I would invite you to just extend your exhale a little bit longer than your inhale. It allows for activation of the vagal nerve and feeding your nervous system, and brings you into a deeper level of tranquility as our beautiful oil valerian. And again, these days I am truly encouraging people to get involved with these particular oils or Young Living, because I have found them to be the absolute purest, not only in the quality, but in the respect and honor and feeling for and recognition of the plants, the trees, the flowers, the land, the soil within which they are grown. So as you're breathing and extending that exhale, I invite you to actually feel you. Most often in meditations, there is an encouragement to go up and out, and I have had much deeper experience teaching people, or people have had much deeper experience as they learn how to go down and within, which is, as we all know, where everything is. Everything is within us that we need, that we want, that we seek. And so often our world encourages us to look outward or receive from outward sources, resources, whether it's an authority figure who appears to protect and stand up for us, or we look to for salvation in some way, or whether it is outer things, material things, citing places we have been, or any number of outer sources and resources giving us value or allowing us to think well of ourselves, when in fact, once we are deeply connected within our humanness through to our divinity, there is a profound physio-energetic, psycho-emotional, spiritual knowing within every fiber of our being of our divine value, our creating our self-recognition, acknowledgement, respect, esteem, honoring, reverence. For you are here at this point in time, purposefully, designedly, not a word, significantly. For your own soul's purpose, but in the discovery and ownership of that soul project, soul purpose. The profound and far wide-reaching effects of your becoming in and of itself evolves our species. Yes, you are that grand. Yes, you matter that much. Yes, your soul is that wide. And so I invite you to ask and allow your body, your energy field, your wider self or soul self, your emotional body, your guides, teachers, masters, helpers, to join you here and now, enabling you to truly, deeply feel you physically, energetically, emotionally, spiritually. For the more you feel you, the more you can know you. The more you know you, the more you value, honor, respect, recognize, acknowledge, revere you. Which automatically enables you to feel everything around you. People, trees, animals, land, air, clouds, water. In the same way as the same made up of the same source, the same divine material. And I invite you to ask and allow your ancestors, your relatives who have gone before and broken trail for you, for us all to be here now. Just keep allowing yourself to breathe, whether the vagal breathing of that extended exhale or merely your own rhythm, whatever feels right to you, and allowing you to be more in and within you. As I also call in and invoke the highest and widest forms of spiritual law, which are constantly evolving and adapting for our highest and widest experience. And if you are in an area where you are particularly feeling or experiencing the smoke, the fine particulates from this New Jersey fire, I invite you to extend that honor and recognition and respect and valuing that you have engendered within you through this practice, to extend that to the trees in your immediate area. The trees that you encounter as you drive, perhaps to and from work, to and from school, to and from errands. Noticing them in perhaps a way that you have not previously, and including them here and now. As part of your family, your relations, our relations. As have all indigenous peoples, origin peoples, ancient peoples. For it is vital in that recognition, acknowledgement, honor, valuing, respect, feeling of those trees. Grateful for all that they do, all that they are, all that they hold for us, for the winged ones, for the critters, for the insects, for the land, for the soil. In that allowing of yourself to be within, feeling yourself, experiencing yourself, you might actually experience a tree, the trees, tree beings, in a full out shape shifting experience. Or perhaps a message and feel from a tree that you know, or a tree on the other side of the planet. The deeper you allow yourself to drop down and within, the more facility to feel / hear / know what a tree or trees experience or receive, what they want to convey to you at this moment in time. Without searching with your mind, you need not go through that narrow channel, but instead, as you are deep within you, the width and breadth of your receiver, allows for any information to come in, message, feeling, through symbol, sound, shape, song title, story, book, legend, myth, movie, memory, character from a book, cartoon, or it feels as if, or it seems like. This is the beyond brain language. That we have often forgotten, disconnected from, lost touch with. but it is the language of the within. It is the language of nature. It is the language of the land, the elements. It is the language of our beyond conscious. It is the language of the beyond physical. Allow, invite, and allow your body, your energy field, your wider soul self, your emotional body, to remember this language. For it is there. Always has been, always will be. As you revel in the feeling physically, energetically, emotionally, spiritually of you in this moment, in communion with the divine in its many forms, perhaps particularly through tree beings or some other. Knowing that you can simply ask and allow yourself to tune into this particular energetic configuration formed today. You may stay in this here and now if you have the time and space and inclination. And if you must return to your daily affairs, then allow your body, your energy field, your deep wisdom to lead you back from what has been perhaps a less physical experience back to a more physical experience in this particular plane of earth, physical in its dimension, in a body and again in your own time, in your own way. Many times people invite those that have been in deep states, altered states, meditation states, to move their body, wiggle something, etc. And yet that may not be your way. So please recognize, acknowledge, respect, honor, value, have reverence for your way of moving from what has been perhaps a less physical experience back to a more physical, current day, current time, place. For some people that may feel like revolving up and out. For others it may feel like a leaf gently floating to the earth. For others an unfolding. Please follow your way. For that is the focus and emphasis of everything that I do with clients in teaching, etc., is helping you find your way. Whether it's in intuition, whether it's in the expression of you, but your way, not any particular way. For it is in the individual expression of who you are, what excites you, what calls you, what delights you, that you evolve our species. If you'd like to explore more of you, to know thyself, to have sovereignty of thyself, to express and presence thyself, please reach out. I offer a 40-minute free one-on-one to help you see the proprietary process that I work with, and if that's something that you'd like to pursue. In the meantime, know that it is with the deepest of honor, gratitude, and love for your presence here on this planet. Until next time, be well.